Good morning, teacher and classmates. We come to talk to about the results we obtained when analysis three classes. The members of the team are Jonathan Bolaina, Denise Izquierdo, and I, Leslie Sastre. The class that we decided to analyze was English 3 from 10 to 12 p.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We sit at different points in the classroom so that each one can take notes from their own perspective. We analyze of 30 to 34 students and third semester language degree students. An average age of the 18 to 23 years old. The students rely on their notebook, their activity book, and their cell phone. The teacher uses her computer and activity book when she was notes to support herself when teaching the classroom. The topic studied in the class was present perfect. And next, Jonathan will tell you more about the topic and the observations we found.
So, how do students acquire student knowledge? From our observations, we found similarities with Lightbound's and SPA's structure-based instructional settings because of how the teacher used materials such as a book, and it was very well defined, very much well defined, very organized, very set systematic type of teaching. Regardless, there was some communicative instructional elements in there because there was also a lot of collaboration, a lot of communication, a lot of mention of real life situations, focusing on language in real life situations. Now, the teacher-student interaction, we observed that the teacher would typically come around students and communicate with them and help them with different things with when they committed errors, when they needed help with a specific kind of with specific pronunciation. Now, student-student interaction, we saw that students would typically talk to each other when they did not know something and didn't explicitly ask the teacher. So we saw students usually talk to each other and help each other when they needed. Word repetition, we saw the teacher usually repeat words. And there was a use of support materials. Now, this is what made us put structure-based instructional settings there, because there was a lot of support for materials. There was this very systematic, organized way of teaching, where she would use the materials and use audios, use videos in order to help students understand the topic and the grammar and all of these sort of things. Corrective feedback, we observed that the teacher would usually repeat, or from Spada and Lightbound's, what we read from Spada and Lightbound, we found that three types of corrective feedback were most common with this teacher specifically, which was repetition, elicitation, and explicit correction. She would sometimes explicitly correct a student when doing something wrong, but she would also use elicitation and repetition in order to help students figure it out for themselves instead of just saying it out loud, just as it is. And finally, a final point that was mentioned there is that we believe that Vygotsky's theory of zone proximal development seems to best fit the teacher's style of teaching, because the teacher, the way that the teacher would usually interact with students is that she would fill in this gap where the student would, in order to learn new things, she was this little bridge, the scaffolding really, that helped students get to that point of learning something new, something they could learn, but didn't necessarily know, but they were capable of learning. So she would be like this little bridge, the support that would help students understand something that they could understand, but didn't yet understand at that point. But and now my class right here. I forgot the word. Will say a few last something.
I would like to add that Mary Swain, in one of her investigations, she associated her studies with sociocultural theory, which was very present in the English classes that we analyzed. And this theory refers to learning through production tasks, such as writing and speaking. And well, finally,